Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you about the future simple tense. But before we begin the lesson, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up if you find it useful. Thank you. Now, let us begin. The future simple tense is a tense that we use to speak about our future plans. There are different ways of using the future simple tense. Number one, if you want to predict something, but you're not sure if it will happen, you can use the future simple tense. You want to predict something. You think something will happen, but you're not sure. Then use the future simple tense. Or if you want to speak about your future plans, you have plans for the future. We all have plans about our future. Now, if you want to speak about your plans for the future, then you can use the future simple tense. If you want to talk about your decision, if you have decided something, then you can use the future simple tense. But how do you do that? You do that by adding will plus verb. So you use will plus verb. So all those choices that we have under example one, that is number one, if you want to A, predict something, but you're not sure if it will happen. B, speak about your future plans. C, talk about something you have decided. In all those three cases, you use will plus verb. And how do you do that? Look at the examples on the right. Example 1. I think that the weather will be nice tomorrow. Now, that is an example where somebody has predicted something, but they are not sure whether it will happen. I think that the weather will be nice tomorrow. We can only predict that the weather will be nice tomorrow. We can never really be sure. We have no proof. We can only predict. Okay? So, if you want to predict something, but you're not sure it will happen, then use will plus verb. Use will plus verb. The same way I have done in example 1A. I think that the weather will be nice tomorrow. Now, look at example 1B. I will invite her to my birthday party. I will invite her to my birthday party. Now, that is an example of a sentence where somebody speaks about their future plans. Somebody speaks about their future plans. There is a birthday that is coming up, and I have decided I am going to invite her. So I'm speaking about my future plans. Now, when you want to do the same, then use will plus verb. In the same way I have done in example 1b. I will invite her to my birthday party. So will plus invite. Okay? Now, let's move on to example 1c. I will pay my bills tomorrow. I will pay my bills tomorrow. That is an example of a sentence in which somebody talks about their choice. They have decided, okay? They have decided they are going to do something, and that is to pay their bills. So, if you want to talk about your decision to do something, then use will plus verb. I will pay my bills tomorrow. In that sentence, you have will plus the verb pay. I will pay my bills tomorrow. So that is one of the ways through which you can use the future simple tense. Okay? If you want to predict something but you're not sure it will happen, or you want to speak about your future plans, or you want to talk about your decision to do something, and all you have to do is use will plus verb. Now, let us move on to number 2 on the left. You can use the future simple tense if, number 2a, if you want to predict, okay, that should be predict, not prediction. If you want to predict, or if you want to make a prediction and you have proof. So when you want to predict something and you have proof, you can use the future simple tense. Number 2b, if you want to speak about your future plans or your decision that you have made or agreed about, maybe you have agreed about something with somebody, then you can also use the future simple tense. And how do you do that? You do that by combining going to plus verb. Going to plus verb. So, let us look at some examples. Look at example 2a. It is going to rain. A raindrop has hit me. It is going to rain. A raindrop has hit me. Now, in that sentence, you have going to plus the verb rain. It is going to rain. So in that case, you have a combination of going to plus the verb. Now, although I'm making a prediction here, in the first sentence, 1a, I think that the weather will be nice tomorrow. I am making a prediction, but I am not sure. But in example 2a, it is going to rain. A raindrop has hit me. In that case, I'm predicting that it's going to rain, and I have evidence because a raindrop has just hit me. So I know it's going to rain, I'm sure. Look at example 2b. I'm going to marry her. I am going to marry her. Okay? Now, in that case, somebody is speaking about their future plans, or they are speaking about their decision, or they're even speaking about an agreement, because before you marry somebody, you must agree, she or must also agree. So that is a perfect example of rule number 2b. If you want to speak about your future plans or decision that you have made or agreed, then use going to plus verb. I am going to marry her. So you can see we have the verb, we have going to plus the verb marry. Going to plus the verb marry. Let us move on to rule number 3 on the left. Use will. Okay, so when you want to speak about the future simple tense, when you want to use the future simple tense, use will for decisions, promises, and threats. If you want to let somebody know what you have decided, if you want to make a promise, or if you want to threaten somebody, then use will. How do you do that? Look at example 3a. I will call you tonight. I will call you tonight. That is a promise. Okay? You are promising somebody that you will call them tonight. I will call you tonight. And you can see we have used the word will. Look at example 3b. We will never speak to him again. We will never speak to him again. Now, that is a decision. You have decided that you will never ever speak to him again. It could also be a promise. Okay? We will never speak to him again. I will give you another example for a threat. I will slap you if you don't stop calling me names. I will slap you if you don't stop calling me names. Now, that is a threat. You're threatening somebody. You're saying, if they don't stop calling you names, you're going to slap them. I will slap you if you don't stop calling me names. In that sentence, I have used will. Okay? So, if you want to speak about your decisions or your promises or your threats, then use will. Number 4, use shall to ask questions. Use shall to ask questions. How do you do that? Look at examples 4a. Shall we go to the movies? Shall we go to the movies? Shall we go to the movies? And then look at example B. Shall I serve the food? Shall I serve the food? In both cases, we have 2 questions, and both questions begin with shall. So if you want to ask a question in the future simple tense, then begin with shall. Rule number 5. Use the present continuous to talk about fixed future appointments and plans. So if you want to talk about future appointments that you have already fixed, okay, or your plans, then use the present continuous, okay? Let's say, for example, you have made an appointment. So these future appointments and plans should be in regard to schedules and timetables, okay? If you have future plans, future appointments that you have made, and they have something to do with schedules, like for example, the train timetable or a flight timetable or a lesson timetable, okay? Use the present continuous. Now, what does that mean? How do you do that? You use verb to be plus the verb plus ing. So verb to be, so you use the verb to be plus a verb plus ing. I'll give you some examples. Look at examples 5a. I'm seeing Billy tomorrow. I'm seeing Billy later. Now, I have already made an appointment with Billy. I will see him later, okay? To express my plan with Bill in the near future, I use the present continuous. And how I do that, I have the verb to be, which is I am, and then I have the verb, which is see, and I add ing to that verb. It becomes sing. I have made a video about the present continuous tense. If you're not sure about it, feel free to have a look at that video. But continuous simply means you add ing at the end of the verb. Look at example 5b. He is taking Sarah out for dinner tonight. He is taking Sarah out for dinner tonight. So he has made an appointment with Sarah that tonight they're going to go out for dinner. So that is a perfect example of rule number 5, because he is talking about his future appointment that he has already fixed with Sarah. Okay? And it has something to do with a schedule and a timetable, because we have the word dinner tonight. He is taking Sarah out for dinner tonight. And in the previous example, I'm seeing Billy later. Okay? In example 5b, we have the verb to be, and it is. And the verb is take plus ing. It becomes taking. Okay? We have the verb to be, which is plus the verb, which is take, plus ing, and it becomes taking, is taking. And finally, the last rule. Use the present simple to indicate or to show that something is going to happen according to the timetable. Okay? For example, a flight arriving or a flight leaving. So if you want to talk about something that is going to happen and it has or it is related to a timetable. Okay? For example, a flight. The arrival of a flight and the departure of a flight, there's normally a fixed timetable. What time the flight leaves, what time the flight arrives. Or maybe a train. A train runs on a timetable. It arrives at a certain time and it leaves at a certain time. So if you want to talk about something that is going to happen according to a specific timetable, for example, a flight, then use the present simple. And how do you do that? It's very simple. You simply combine the verb plus s. That is for he, she, and it. Okay? If you have the pronouns he, the personal pronouns he, she, and it, you simply add an s to the verb. Okay? And with the rest of the personal pronouns, you don't add an s. You leave the verb in its original form. Now, once more, I have made a video about personal pronouns. If you want to know more about them and how you combine them with verbs, feel free to have a look at that video. But if you want to talk about your plans, okay? You want to talk about something that is going to happen according to a specific timetable, then all you have to do is combine the verb with an S if your sentence begins with any of these personal pronouns: he, she, and it. How do you do that? Let's look at examples 6 on the right. 6a. The bus leaves in 30 minutes. The bus leaves in 30 minutes. So you can see we have the verb leave and we have just added an S. Okay? Because the bus is an it. The bus leaves in 30 minutes. Example 6b. My job starts at 8 o'clock. My job starts at 8 o'clock. Once more in that sentence, you have the verb start and you just add an S and it becomes starts. And in the last example, she lives in 2 hours. She lives in 2 hours. Once more, you have the verb live and you have added an S. Okay? So, all these rules and all these examples should help you to use the future simple tense correctly. Remember, we use the future simple tense to talk about our future plans. Okay? And if you found this lesson useful, please do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel. If you found the lesson useful, if you think you learned something new, if you found the lesson informative, please subscribe to the channel. Have you done that? Thank you. That will encourage me to keep uploading more videos to continue helping you to improve in your level of English. Thank you very much and see you in our next lesson. Bye-bye.